Law Simplified with Justice informs and educates on the law. This exciting and thought-provoking program is anchored by Justice Maduforo, a solicitor. Justice is persuasive, innovative and confident with the tenacity to take on complex topics and cases. With solid experience and expertise in making representations and advocacy in courts and tribunals, Justice provides a one-stop shop in immigration law, criminal law, employment law and contract law. For tailor-made legal advice, Law Simplified with Justice, bringing the best to the audience.
Hello and welcome to Law Simplified with Justice. This is your very lovely program, a very weekly program for you. And it is me, as usual, Justice Maduforo. I am a solicitor of England and Wales. I'm also a barrister in the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Therefore, I practice in both jurisdictions and am able to advise you in your matters in jurisdictions that you find yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, Law Simplified with Justice, as you already know, so those of you tuning in for the first time, this program brings the very best of legal topics. And this program has been running for the past 2.5 years now. It brings the very best topics. It simplifies the law, as the name of the program suggests. Law Simplified. It simplifies it. And what is the purpose of simplifying the law? To get you to take action. To get you to take action. Therefore, on that ground, whatever I say on this program, whatever my guests say on this program, they are not legal advice. And therefore, you must not act on them. Rather, seek advice. And that is why you take the number on the screen, 079-317275. Give me a call. Arrange an appointment to come and see me in the office. Or we'll talk over the telephone. And before, we cannot be able to act on whatever I advise you. However, as you can see it also scrolling on the TV, consultation fee must be paid before I begin to discuss your matter with you. Whether you are sending me documents to the email, I will not read them until, first of all, consultation fee has been paid. And then I can read them and then prepare, call you or sit down with you in the office, and then we discuss. And then I will advise you. It's at that point you cannot act on whatever I say to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Law Simplified with Justice is the best program. I am a specialist in immigration law. I am a specialist in contract law. I am a specialist in criminal law. I'm a specialist in employment law. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important that I put this forward before you to understand that all that you need in legal services is within me. From litigation to advocacy, from the magistrate court to the crown court, to the court of appeal, to the Supreme Court, to the European Court of Justice, you have me for litigation and advocacy, from the employment tribunal to the employment appeal tribunal, from the first-tier immigration tribunal to the upper tribunal. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way to the court of appeal. Ladies and gentlemen, you have me there. Justice is what you need. In contract law, matters in the county court to the high court, for appeals and judicial reviews, you have me there. Justice Maduforo, that is what you need. I am veracious, I'm confident, I am expert, I'm an expert, and I'm on point in when I advise you, when I prepare a document, when I package your application, and when I litigate for you, and when I advocate for you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is all one-stop shop that you have in me, that therefore you look no further for any other matter in your immigration matter, employment matter, contract, and employment matters, and contract matters, and immigration as I'm talking today. Today, I will be discussing on immigration law. Today's program is on immigration law. I have spoken on employment law. You can catch some of the programs on YouTube by just typing my name, Justice Maduforo, or Law Simplified with Justice in YouTube. And then you get all my programs I've done. And from there, you could refresh your memory. Whatever that you need is already been dealt with. And for you to get action, and call me to take proper instruction from you and advise you. Ladies and gentlemen, I have also discussed employment law. On all areas of employment law, I've discussed them. They're on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. all the protected characteristics, discrimination against disability, racial discrimination, discrimination against sex, as a result of your sex, as a result of your marriage or family status. I have also discussed that in employment law. I've discussed disciplinary procedures. If you are passing through one now, or you have just passed through waiting for a result, I've gone through that. Grievance proceedings, I've discussed that in employment law. Contract, I've discussed that. From all commercial contracts, I've discussed all that. I've discussed so many types of contract you can engage into, from drafting to review and to also monitoring your contract. I've discussed that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I've also discussed criminal law. I have discussed with my discussants in criminal law matters. I am police station accredited. I am magistrate court duty solicitor, that I can take your matter on from the magistrate police station free of charge, paid for by the government. But I do not work for the government. I'm independent from the government, but representing you under the Access to Justice Act, of which I am accredited to represent you at the police station free of charge. I represent you in your best interest. Take the matter from there. If you charge to the magistrate court, come to the magistrate court and advise you. As well, prepare your matters, prepare the evidence, look at the evidence and advise you accordingly. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what you have in criminal matters. If you have any or your words is passing through matters in employment, in criminal matters, in the magistrate court, in the crown court, from ordinary matters of sexual assault to rape, to murder, to manslaughter, to conspiracy, to defraud, to every sort of matters that you have against the Magistrate Revenue and Custom, Department of Works and Pension, and all sort of matters that you have. Ladies and gentlemen, you have me. From confiscation to the Process of Crime Act, you have me. I am trained, equipped, and solid to discuss and to advise and to run with you matters relating to criminal law. Ladies and gentlemen, I have discussed these matters with you. Today on this program, I will be discussing immigration law. I have continued to discuss immigration law because as a result of a popular request to discuss this matter, and also as a result of consistent instructions I've received in the past few months regarding the same issues people getting wrong. Remember that this program is everywhere. So many people are watching this program within the United Kingdom, outside the United Kingdom, those in Nigeria, those in America, those in Europe, those in even outside the European continent. You're watching this program, your words or your family or yourself seek to come to the United Kingdom, but you don't know what to do, how to go about it, how to prepare your applications. You want to even refuse entry clearance, then you have me. The number is on the screen. When you call me, we can discuss how we can deal with the matter and how I can take on your matter to appeal that decision against the entry clearance officer. Ladies and gentlemen, that is immigration for you. For those of you who are outside the United Kingdom, those of you within the United Kingdom, you have me from your bail application all the way to any application. If you are in detention today and you've been there for 2 months, 1 month, and you have exhausted your bail applications, right, therefore, you think you have no longer right and probably have set a date to remove you to your country, take the telephone, pass it on to the person who is in detention and let them call me. Ladies and gentlemen, remember that I do not advise you until you pay consultation fee. Therefore, it is important, it's a foundation, it's fundamental, it's important to determine whether your case can succeed or not. You cannot begin to build skyscrapers without laying foundation. And therefore, you do not want me to talk about and advise you without seeking fundamental instructions from you. And that instructions must be paid for before I advise you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am discussing immigration law today. I beg your pardon, because I've already talked about employment, and you know I do employment as well. But today I'm discussing immigration law. The topic today is suitability requirement under the immigration law. Suitability requirement under the immigration law, or suitability requirement in immigration law. This topic is important because I have seen files transferred to me. People who have watched this program and see that those who are representing them before were not doing the right thing. And they have taken the right step to transfer the files to me. And I have advised them. And they can attest to the fact that my advice is on point, is spot on, and is accurate. And when they run with my advice, success is waiting. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important. Suitability requirement is a very solid topic and a very key area that has weighed down a lot of people in their immigration application. In the immigration application, what is suitability requirement? From the 9th of July 2012, the Home Office have changed rules. And if you watch my programs on YouTube, I have made mention about the catastrophic change introduced from the 9th of July 2012. I've discussed that. It is a very, very fundamental date that changed the course of immigration application, the right to stay and the right to come over here. over in the United Kingdom. This is essential. Suitability requirement is one of those that came and was cut up. Initially before, when you make an application to come over to UK or to remain in the United Kingdom, whether or not you have any criminal conviction or not, it does not apply much. But as a matter of fact, the 9th of July 2012 set the whole course anew, afresh. Which means that if you have some form of criminality or some form of you failed to disclose certain information, and you also gave some false representation in terms of your application, from the 9th of July, whether or not you made your application after 9th of July or before 9th of July, as far as no decision yet has been made regarding your application, then you'll be cut up with 9th of July 2012 rules. These rules come in to change the course of your immigration application. A lot of people think that immigration law has been simplified. Never. Nay. Immigration law and rules have now been compounded, has made it more difficult for certain people to apply. But guess what? When you come to me as an expert in immigration law, having the facts, having the statutes, having the case laws at the palm of my hands, I will know the one that we use and necessary to trade in your case and apply technicalities in your case. Let me tell you, immigration law succeeds now on technicalities. Therefore, that is why you come to me. Technicalities are acquired by those who have expert knowledge on it. And that is why your application can succeed based on technicality. And it's not everybody out there that can trade on the path of technicality. That is why you come to me. When I trade on the path of technicality, if your application has been refused, or if you are sitting on criminality whereby you have one previous conviction or the other, and you think you can no longer make any application, you run to me. You do not want to waste time. I tell you, especially the minority in this country, the minority in the United Kingdom, this message is for you, or even not for you, for assuming that you are married or living, your partner of a British citizen or European citizen. But still, this applies to you because your words, your wife, your partners are completely caught up with these changes and what I'm discussing today. So if it applies to you, you sit and just give me a call because it's very important. Changes on the 9th of July 2012 changed the course of our immigration application. Now, suitability requirement is that rule which the Home Office have now introduced into the immigration rules, whereby if you have some form of criminality, your application will be or may be refused. Look at the coin of the words they used. If you have some form of criminality, criminal convictions, to make it simpler, your application to come over here at entry clearance to join as a partner of the person who is a British citizen or residents in the United Kingdom, your application may be refused or will be refused if you have some form of criminality or the other, or if you fail to disclose some certain information. But this is what, guess what? This is where people get it wrong. And I'll tell you this, I will tangle this a little bit. And you see, the essence of this program is that I simplify this law. I engage you. I make you to understand and enjoy the program so that you can take action. You pass the number to the person who needs it. Listen, as I said to you earlier, with making no form of apology, I keep saying this, I am an expert in immigration law. And I have no rivalry when it comes to packaging application, immigration law, litigating in the first tier tribunal, or lodging judicial review applications in the upper tier tribunal. Because guess what? You no longer go to the High Court immigration matters to lodge judicial review applications. The upper tier tribunal now have jurisdiction to deal with that. And I prepared judicial review application, and I run with your matters. You will not go wrong when you stay with me. When you run with me, and obviously when you pay the fees, because that will determine on how I decided to engage with you and run with your instruction. Ladies and gentlemen, suitability requirement is essential. Because as I said to you earlier when I said this program, transfers of files have come to me, refusal upon refusal from those who have gone to another person to lodge application for them, and this application was refused. And guess what? They are all compounding and all multiplications and consistent numerous refusals based on suitability requirement. Because that person who had prepared application, lodged it for them, did not advise them on suitability requirement. Either they have no knowledge about it or they completely ignored it. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? That's what you get when you come to me. Because I will discuss all the requirements that are needed. Suitability requirements that they say is that when you have some form of criminality, your application, the immigration Home Office on the immigration law will either be refused or may be refused. But in many instances, must be refused. The reason is not far-fetched. The reason because it is in public interest that you will be excluded to come to the United Kingdom or live or remain in the United Kingdom. And also, in interest of justice, it is not suitable to exercise discretion to allow you to stay here. Now, this is the Home Office way of refusing your application. Now, what do I mean by that? Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this, is important. Suitability requirement. Most of you sitting and watching me today have had some form of conviction or the other. And you would think it is just a simple conviction and I don't need it. And that's why, guess what? This is very important, I say this. I am police station and I am magistrate court duty solicitor, which means that if you have any matter at all, by arrest or voluntary attendance at the police station, to discuss your matter with the police, listen, give them my number and call me. You know why? I will advise you, especially if you're the minority. You are still having some form of limited leave to remain here. You have some form of indefinite leave to remain here. And you feel that you can just go to the police station all by yourself. Rethink. Rethink. The police station is not a do or die affair. It's not a place you walk in and walk out. It's not a restaurant. It's a very serious place. And therefore, if you go there, some of you go there and make no comment, not knowing exactly what you're saying, not knowing exactly when you have to make comment or no comment. But that's why you need me. When I come to the police station, I'll advise you. Then your matter can progress. The essence of my coming to advise you to make sure that the matter is discontinued against you. And the police take no further action against you. Even if they take actions and charge you to court, you have me by your side to run the matter, to run the trial for you in the magistrate court, in the crown court. And guess what? My concept and my purpose will be to get you acquitted. When you get acquitted, now you save your immigration applications that are still pending. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, it's a pack of cards. When you get conviction in criminal law, it begins to affect your immigration, begins to affect your profession in this country. Therefore, don't take it lightly. That is why when you come to me, one-stop shop in matters in criminal matters, matters in immigration, matters in litigation advocacy. So what else can you do? What else can you go wrong? No, you can't go wrong anymore when you come to me. The number is on the screen, 07931727597. That's the number you need. Ladies and gentlemen, I will take a very short break. I will return back and I will continue with the requirement under the suitability requirement in immigration law. Stay tuned.
Law Simplified with Justice informs and educates on the law.
Hello, and welcome back to Law Simplified with Justice. I remain Justice Madufaro. Before I took a very short break, I told you that the suitability requirement is essential. Once you have some form of criminality or the other, that affects your immigration application. Whether you have some limited leave to remain, whether you have discretionary leave to remain, whether you have indefinite leave to remain, as far as and as long as you're not a citizen of this country, this applies to you. So don't think I have indefinite leave to remain, therefore you go scot-free. Nay, nay, nay. It applies to you. Therefore, you must make sure that you tune into this program and you listen to this program and you take action. Pass the number to those who need this. Because as I said to you, I am an expert in dealing with these matters. Now, what am I saying in essence? In essence is that if you have criminality or previous conviction, now that will affect your application and the spouse of the person settled and the British citizen in this country. If you want to make an application or anti-clearance of leave to remain in this country, whatever category, and that category applies to your application to remain here as a result of your child. That application also applies if you want to remain here as a result of for some of your discretionary leave or the other, as a family member of a person settled in the United Kingdom. This applies to you. Or you want to make an application for indefinite leave to remain in the United Kingdom, suitability requirement applies to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's important. And even if you're not yet due to make that application and you're facing criminal allegation against you, seek me, call me. Therefore, my purpose will get you out, get the matter closed. Therefore, you can have your fresh slate. The fact that you are arrested, the fact that you are asked to come to police station, doesn't mean you committed an offense. Don't get scared when somebody say you're arrested, and therefore you feel embarrassed to call your solicitor to advise you. Don't feel embarrassed. Forget it. Because everybody, one way or the other, could be a victim of that, could be a suspect of that. Whether or not the issue, the bottom line is whether or not you're convicted. And so the purpose of it coming to me to ensure that you're not convicted, your matter is chucked away, you're NFA'd, which is take no further action against you, and you are acquitted at the magistrate court or in the crown court. I have caseloads of matters that my clients have been acquitted of matters coming from rape to murder to manslaughter. I have a track record on that. And I can tell you that unequivocally to let you know that I am an expert in dealing with that. I will advise you in black and white. I will let you know whether the evidence is strong, evidence is weak, you can run with evidence, whether the need for the investigation, or whether or not evidence against you is completely baseless. I will advise you on that. That's why you need to come to me. Now, going back to the immigration law, just tell you that you don't need to have criminal conviction to apply for you now to proceed with the immigration applications. Because if you do have criminal convictions, terribly, it becomes a pack of cards. All falls down because it will not continue to affect you. Now, let's dig deeper and let me take you further into a journey in respect to suitability requirements. Why is it that if I have criminality, it will affect me? That will be the question. Probably you know, probably you don't know. Now, under the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act 1974, under the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act, ladies and gentlemen, there are provisions. Rehabilitation of Offenders Act means that you have been rehabilitated if you have some form of conviction or the other. It means that you have been rehabilitated by the fact that the conviction you sustained or you were imposed, that was imposed on you or that you had been served, has been spent. Ladies and gentlemen, the technicalities is very essential to understand the terminology between served and spent. That's very important. Some of you get it wrong when you lodge your application. If you are intending to make an application for indefinite leave to remain or make any form of application and you have one conviction or the other. Now, let me begin to list these convictions that you think, oh, it doesn't apply to me. Most of you would think, oh, God, I just have a simple caution. That's not okay. That's okay. That's no problem. Now, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. If you have application, if you have convictions ranging from a simple caution, a simple warning, a simple reprimand. Now, caution is administered to adults. And the reprimands are administered to young offenders, which means those under 17 years of age. And then if you have these convictions and you're getting ready to apply for indefinite leave to remain at the other, you must spend those convictions, these sentences or these things you receive from the police station. Don't think just at the police station. If you get the police station and you're given a simple caution, a simple reprimand, or conditional caution, this applies to you. It applies to you. Even if you are granted now, it may affect your indefinite leave to remain when you are not due to apply to it. If you are in that position, seek me. Justice Maduforo, 079317275. That's what you need, ladies and gentlemen. I'm an expert in advising and dealing with matters of this sort and litigate for you and run through the technicalities and plug in through the exceptional circumstances to ensure the application is sustained. Ladies and gentlemen, now if you have caution, simple conditional caution, reprimands, you have been given some form of sentence, either community order sentences which you have received, compensation orders that you have received, imprisonment which you have received. If you are a youth, you'll be sent to a detention and training order, or you'll be sent to the Young Offending Institute, and you think that, oh, it's just when I was a youth. Listen, catch it out now, it does affect you. If you have, just leave, if you have such convictions or such sentences imposed on you, seek me. Seek advice before you begin to make any application, okay? Before you make an application, even if you want to make it yourself, seek advice first to see whether or not you're in line before you can make the application. Some of you want to make the application to save cost. That's okay. But seek advice first to ensure that you are making the right application, using the right form, and you're putting the right information in there. And then you can run with it. Seek me, ladies and gentlemen. And now you have some form of community orders, as I mentioned, imprisonment. If you have imprisonment of 2 years upwards, it becomes unspent. You can never spend it. It becomes unspent, ladies and gentlemen. If you have anything less than 2 years downwards, so 6 months upwards or 6 months downwards of imprisonment, ladies and gentlemen, of which you have served 3 months and your license for 3 months, or you finish your license for 3 months or thereabout, and then you think you're not free. Now, there's a difference between served and spent. If you have 6 months imprisonment, you served 3 months, of which you were released and licensed for additional 3 months, the remaining 3 months, of which you cannot serve in the community. Okay? Either you are supervised in the community or you're not supervised in the community. But otherwise, that you have served your sentence. If you finish the 3 months inside and the 3 months outside, you have served your sentence. Then, under the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act, for the purpose of immigration application, if you have 6 months less than or upwards, ladies and gentlemen, the requirement for you to spend it, which is spent, is different. If you're sitting on that, rush to me. 07931727597. That's what you need, ladies and gentlemen. As I explain this to you, a lot of people are getting it wrong. Applications have been turned down. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you an instance. My client made an application, obviously, before he came to me, and he made it by himself. And that application is essential. Let me tell you, the FLRO application, FLRM application, FLIFP application, Set O application, Set M applications, which you're applying, even for citizenship applications you are applying, even for naturalization, which you're applying, even for registration for naturalization, which you're applying. Ladies and gentlemen, those forms are legal documents. They are legal documents, and therefore they are interpreted in a legal way, which means that whatever you put down, you are putting down on oath. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, you are putting down on oath. That means those documents are legal documents. Therefore, don't treat it shabbily. Don't treat it with a glove kid and just think or just write and move on. Don't treat it simply like that, because it is treated as you're writing and confirming information on oath. Therefore, on those grounds, your application could be refused, or probably you could even be charged to court for perjury. Ladies and gentlemen, it's important. So don't just think it's just an application form, completed and send out, sign, date, send. No, not at all. Consider whether or not you are attempting perjury. Consider whether or not you are breaching some form of information there or not. That's why when you come to me, the application is packaged once and for all. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Justice Maduforo. I'm a specialist in packaging immigration applications to ensuring they are on point and ensuring they are granted once and for all. Those of you that have come to me can attest to the testimonies of which you've gone through me and you've seen your matter proceed stresslessly. In terms of keeping you informed, you know you always have me. You have my mobile number. You can always keep me in contact as to your progress of your application. That's the beauty of it. At every single moment, I will inform you. If your matter stays too long and I'm not getting resolved, I will forward it to the Home Office. I will inquire as to why it is still pending. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where you get it. Come to me. Class representation, on-point representation, in your best interest. As I said to you, very also important. So those of you who came to United Kingdom here, either through other countries, and you've used wrong names, you use other names, you use other date of birth, of which you've been running with in this country, of which some of you have even used that in your children's date of birth certificate, and you use that on your documents, and you're worried. What can you do now? You are running with a name that is not your name, you're running with a date of birth that is not your date of birth, you're running with a circumstance not your circumstance. You want a change, you want to turn around, you want to make things better. Seek me. Talk to me. Dozens of you out there, millions and thousands of you out there, because you have made this application, because when you wanted to come to this country, to enter this country, you were not aware of the things that are required, and you have gone abroad and made certain applications that you shouldn't have made. Use some passport you shouldn't have used, use names you shouldn't have used, your date of birth you shouldn't have used. Let me tell you, if you don't correct them, it will continue to affect you in your applications. Ladies and gentlemen, I will untangle that situation for you and readjust you completely and make a fresh application to be new you. And we will run with it with your determination and with your instruction and ensure that you will be granted leave to remain in the United Kingdom. I remain Justice Maduforo. It's been a pleasure discussing the suitability requirement in immigration law, and I will continue to bring this topic and discuss with you. Remember that suitability requirement is an arm. There is also eligibility requirement. I won't go that. I'm only dealing with suitability requirement. Immigration law is vast. Don't take it lightly. Come to me. The number on the screen. I remain Justice Maduforo. I am a solicitor. Your time has come.
Law Simplified with Justice informs and educates on the law. This exciting and thought-provoking program is anchored by Justice Maduforo, a solicitor. Justice is persuasive, innovative, and confident with the tenacity to take on complex topics and cases. With solid experience and expertise in making representations and advocacy in courts and tribunals, Justice provides a one-stop shop in immigration law, criminal law, employment law, and contract law. For tailor-made legal advice,